Alright guys, welcome aboard. I thought I'd continue my little series here with my new Just Flight PA-28-161 Warrior 2. And I thought I'd do a little fun flight here around San Diego. I learned to fly in San Diego here at Gillespie Field in the east side of San Diego. And I thought I'd kind of do... Sorry about that. I kind of do a flight that I used to do whenever people wanted to come fly with me. So let me go ahead and give you the VFR chart here, and we'll take a look at what we're going to do. Get that stuff out of the way. Alright, so here's Gillespie Field, and I'll give you a big picture here. So here's San Diego, here's downtown, and what we're going to do, we're taking a look at the TAC chart here. We're going to take off from Gillespie here. We're going to come around towards Lake Murray. Let me go ahead and zoom this in as far as I can. There we go. So we're going to take off, come around to Lake Murray. We're going to climb out to about 2,500 feet. Then we're going to cross over and transition through Montgomery's airspace here at 2,500. Once we get past that, we're going to descend down to about 1,500 feet, come over the north side of Mission Bay here, head for Crystal Pier, then we'll go offshore here. We'll kind of follow the shore right around La Jolla, come back down around here, heading towards Torrey Pines and the little glider port there, head out towards Del Mar. And then Solana Beach, head over to Encinitas here, and somewhere around here we'll turn eastbound, follow it in here to Lake Hodges, and start turning back towards Ramona here. Now, back in my day when I was flying, this was an uncontrolled airport, I think. Yeah, it was. So now it's got a tower here, so in real life you'd have to, get the transition permission from the tower here. But anyway, we're going to kind of fly south of Ramona, come back down around here, head for San Vicente, and then start our descent down into Gillespie again. Come back down around this way and hit Gillespie. So that is the route, and I've got real-world weather set up, which is kind of interesting because we're getting Santa Ana conditions here. That's basically winds out of the east, northeast, come down the mountains. It gets really breezy and windy, and gets hot. So it was like 91 or something here yesterday, and it's it's like January, end of January here. So it is kind of breezy. I got the wind up here. You can see the wind's kind of out of the north here at 2 or 3 knots, which isn't that bad right here. But we'll see. We're going to take off runway 27 anyway, so I have a little bit of a crosswind there. I'm hoping that doesn't update, because at my house, a little bit north of here, it's quite breezy. Probably got about 15 to 20 knots right now. So excuse me, hoping that in San Diego, at least at the moment, what's getting updated in the simulator is a little bit less there. So let's jump into the cockpit here. I'm really liking this this Piper. I flew when I trained at Gillespie. I trained mainly on 152s, and then I flew 172, older one, and then I transitioned into the Warrior here. And flew the Warrior and also the Archer, which has got another like 20 horsepower more than the Warrior. But really liking this airplane. I like the way it's modeled and everything. Definitely takes me back to my old flying days here in Gillespie Field. So let me get started up here. Let's see what we got. We're not going to follow the checklist along. We're just going to eyeball it here. It's more about looking at the scenery in San Diego today. So let's go ahead and put our battery and alternator on. Put our fuel mixture up. We'll hit our fuel valve, or fuel pump, sorry. And We'll switch over to our left tank here, and there we go. You can hear the pump kind of changing volume a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and kill the music right now, just for the flight, so you can hear all the little nice switches and everything else on here in the actual sim. So let's go ahead and get started up. Hopefully I do this right. There we go. Starts up real quick. Sometimes it's a little bit, at least in real life, a little bit harder to start. And engine instruments, green on the pressure. Fuel pressure is good. We got plenty of fuel here for our little, 45 minute flight here. Let's see what else we gotta do. Throttle's all the way back. We'll go ahead and zoom in over here. We're gonna put the mixture down a little bit so it feels on. We'll put our let me see. This is how you turn on. Yeah, there we go. So we turn on. That turns on our nav lights, and then it also controls our display on here. So you can turn down the display. Not that we're going to be using that. We'll just use it for reference here. What else? We put our strobes on. And if we take a look outside, you can see we've got our nice strobes going. And I think, let me see, where's my, I'm going to turn this arrow up a little bit. They've got this nice little menu here so we can open and close our doors and turn on reflections within the cockpit here. You can do your, you can actually set your fuel here too. That gives you your weight balance and all that good stuff. Take a look at our fuel pressures and oil pressure and everything on here. You can actually recharge the battery. You can simulate spark plug fouling, which is a real thing in the Vipers. Let's see what else we got here. Chocks. Oh, volume. So I've got the only thing I've got turned down is our environmental volume. So we don't hear a lot of noise in the actual sim. So I'll get rid of that. Turn that. You can put your you can mouse over this little arrow, and you can actually move it so that it's still there, but it's just not visible. So you can kind of change that around as you desire right there, which is nice. All right, I think we're ready to taxi here. Let's go ahead and we'll just turn our transponder to altitude. What's our altimeter setting here? 3012. Let's go ahead and set that. I'm going to zoom in quite a bit here. 3012, right about there. Alright, and let's double check our indicator here. Drop that up a little bit. Won't really mess with that too much. And our heading, we're heading north, so let's go ahead and let's set our DG here. North towards 3 slightly. Alright, there we go. That's the way I always used to do it. So, north, and then it's just a little bit towards the 3. So north, a little bit towards the 3. Alright, let's see here. I think that's it. We're good to go for right now. Alright, so we're going to taxi out to, we'll actually taxi to 27 right, which is this longer runway. And parking brakes off. We're at the Transient parking area. Not modeled completely correctly here. There's a few problems here with Gillespie. Obviously within X-Plane you do, when the airports get put in, they flatten out the airport so that you don't have a bunch of weird bumps or anything like that. But this hill isn't here. It's actually pretty flat. There's a little parking area right here where you can park and have lunch and watch the planes come and go, or just plane spot. just a couple of these sounds I've been playing around. If you looked at my other videos, you might have heard me talking about the sound. I'm trying to get the sound volumes correct for recording versus streaming is a little frustrating, especially you got so many different controls for the sound. You know, you've got your computer controls, and then you've got X-plane controls, and now inside of here, like I showed you, there's controls for the individual airplane. This one's got its own volumes, so trying to get everything right sometimes can be a pain. Hopefully everything sounds right on this video. I'm going to keep the sounds kind of turned up so you can hear everything that's comes with the plane. You can hear the little rumbling there as we're taxiing, getting a little bit of you know, wind noise. I'm not sure if our door is completely closed. We'll take a look at that. I think it is. So we'll stop over here and do a quick run up. Heard that little click there. So what I have it set so that it automatically switches my fuel tanks left and right. In the Pipers here, you've got the off, left, and right. You don't have them both setting. So every like 15-20 minutes, you got to change the fuel tank that you're draining from, so you don't get an imbalance. Alright, so our winds are kind of out of the north, so we'll just stop right here and do our run up. And I can show you, we're probably, let's see if we're fouled up a little bit. No, that's because I leaned out the mixture. If you left it full rich and kind of taxied around, you'll start seeing this fouling going up. But we will come over here, we'll do a little bit of a run up here. I've been playing around with the settings in the plane. This is literally I think like my third or fourth flight in it. And 2000, go to left, gotta drop about 100, go back to both, go back to right. Alright, that looks good. Throttle all the way back to idle, and engine's still running. We'll go ahead and go mixture rich for takeoff, double check our flaps. And we'll go landing light on. There we go. We'll put that on. Let's check our trim. I've got a key here for doing that, and it's actually about right, just south of neutral. Let's see, what else do we do? Rudder trim should be set. That's down here. Take a look at that just for the heck of it. I just spun it. Crap. Get just in there, and you can see here, you can see the line here moving up and down. So I'm just gonna, I think I spun it by accident. We'll just set it for neutral right now. Throttle back. I think we're ready for departure. We're not gonna screw with the radios or anything. We'll just do a little sightseeing tour here. So flaps are set, trim set. What else? Oh, door. Yeah, we're gonna check our door here. Something wasn't latched. There we go. Latch the top of the door and it's closed. And as a matter of fact, let's go outside and just double check that. Because the last flight I didn't latch the top latch, and the door actually popped open. Yeah, and see, this is the latch up here that you have during flight. Alright, we've got our view set up here, down a little bit just so I can quickly see our RPM. Alright, let's take the runway here now. Like I said, what's our winds right now? Out of the east, oh no, that's out of the north at 2 or 3, so a little bit of a crosswind here. Hopefully it doesn't increase. Might be a little bumpy here though. Yeah, I see you got their turbulence is showing a little bit right here. Not too much. Now I'll take the active, or we'll take the runway 27 right. Then we're going to depart here and then do a left turn over towards Lake Murray. And let's power up. Try to keep center line here with that crosswind.
make our left turn over here for Lake Murray. Yeah, I was saying before we took off there, the leveling on the airfield, the cross runway, not the one that we took off from, the one that crosses it, there's a little mountain inside, or right across the runway. So, and that's I've seen other people reporting that also. Yeah, keep our power up here. We're going up to 2,500. Start trimming down a little bit and pick up a little bit of speed here. Get a little better visibility over the nose. Head for Lake Murray here and start leveling off. Go ahead and throttle back, get our nose down. Try to maintain about 2,500 here. Alright, so let's turn down the sound here a little bit on the engine. Where's my sound? There it is. Alright, we'll turn down our master a bit. We don't have engine sound on here. Here we go. It's a little bit more manageable, I think. Fly the airplane. Alright, climb it up a little bit higher than I wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and throttle back to somewhere around 2,600. I think I'm a little high right now, yeah, at 27. Alright, so we're over Lake Murray here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my rendering options here so it looks, there we go, looks a little better. Keep the waves off. So in real life here, we would normally call Montgomery Tower right now and get clearance to transition westbound. I'm turning to look at my my RPM there. I want to keep it around 2650-ish. Try to get back down to our altitude here at 2,500. So we were cleared to transition south side of Montgomery Field here. We told we're heading for Crystal Pier. We're going to descend down to 1,500 once we're west of the airfield. So you got Mission Bay. This is San Diego State University right here, and Mission Gorge. We're not Mission Gorge. I'm losing it here. Excuse me. Mission Valley. It's a little early here, but yeah, that's San Diego State, Mission Valley. We stay right between Mission Valley and the airport right here. We're gonna go to the south side, head right down here. Stay on the north side of Mission Bay. That's what I was thinking. And there's 2,500. Let's hold right there. Throttle back a little bit. Looks like our rudder trim needs to be adjusted a little bit. So let's come down here. Step on that rudder trim a bit.
what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the ball here without touching the controls, just sort of holding it. Pull it back on the yoke a little bit to keep our altitude. Alright, there we go. That looks better. We'll see if that works. So winds aren't too bad here in San Diego. It's the former, what is that, QuailComm Stadium. Used to be Jack Murphy Stadium. Used to be where the Chargers play. Where before the Chargers went to LA. And I think my rudder trims off a little bit. It keeps wanting to turn to the left here a little bit. Nice little thing here, you can move the visors down, up and down a little bit. And I'm going to keep the landing light on here as we transition and as we go along the coastline there. A lot of times, there's downtown San Diego, Lindbergh Field, North Island, Navy base there. Alright, we're coming up to, let me get back in here. Let's see. So we're passing the airport. We're going to go ahead and throttle back to about 2,500 and start a descent down to 2,500. This route keeps us out of the Class B airspace. Looking at my RPM there. I'm going to keep it about 2,500 as we descend down. So usually the way I would do this is here's the I-5 freeway. I'd want to be down at 1,500 by the I-5. We still got a little bit of ways here before we actually would enter the airspace. The airspace is kind of cuts across here and goes towards the VOR, so we're relatively safe doing that. But all right, there's 1,500. Let's go ahead and nose back up, come across the throttle back up, come across the north side of Mission Bay here. Real life, when I used to fly this, here's the VOR right there, Mission Bay VOR. And you always want to keep in mind where would you go if your engine quit. So because I'm so low down here, the only place was this beach right here. So that was always my emergency landing spot when I flew this route. So especially you're kind of descending, I'm powering back, I'm making adjustments there. You never know, that's usually when something's going to go wrong, when you're screwing around with the power settings. We're all nice and stable here, so we'll head on out. I'm going to do another video. This is kind of interesting with the Ortho. So you can see the water here. It looks pretty decent. Got a little bit of a tinge here of Mission Bay. You'll see that along the coastline here too. I'm going to do another video to show you how to edit the masks for Ortho to make that look a little better, and I think we're going to do Mission Bay as an example. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell button there, you'll get notified whenever I get a video posted. And I've been trying to do videos like once a day. I actually record them ahead of time, so this one here is I don't know when I'm going to make it live, but might not be today, maybe tomorrow or something. I don't know. I like this airplane so much, I might just post it today if everything comes out well. Alright, so we're coming around La Jolla here. We're at 1,300 feet. I'm going to go ahead and kill my fuel pump. And a lot of times, this is Southern California, you got beaches all along here. You would get quite a bit of airplanes flying, actually mostly out of Gillespie, quite a bit. towing banners, you know, along the beach. So they'll be down at like 500 feet, 800 feet, flying along the banners there. So I generally would try to stay above 1,000 feet here. And normally what we do is coming around this way, you'd still be tuned into Montgomery Towers frequency, and they generally kind of do informal aircraft advisory service along the beaches here. So everybody's on the Montgomery frequency, you know, the tower, the banner towing guys, and if you're flying right along here. So you can stay separated from them. Let me trim up here a little bit. I'm going to descend down a little bit, but that's alright. Like I said, I usually stay above 1,000 feet here. We got La Jolla Shores over here. Coming up. This is La Jolla Shores right here. Go paddleboarding. This is La Jolla Cove. I go paddleboarding and snorkeling and surfing all along here. Hey, take a look at the water here. You see how you get that reflection? So I'm going to just show you what the reflection looks like. So if we turn off reflections, that's sort of default. Turn on the reflectivity from our rendering options plugin here. And if I do the waves, it looks even better. You can kind of play around with the amplitude and stuff of the waves. Putting in the waves does give you a hit on your frame rate. So I'm doing like 1920 now. If I remove that, see it jump up a little bit. If we take that off altogether, not really making a difference now, but 20 is good. We'll leave it on there. Alright, so we are heading for Torrey Pines. It's Torrey Pines Golf Course here, and this is the Torrey Pines glider port. Black's Beach down here. If you're ever in San Diego and you want to go watch the gliders, usually there's parasailers and stuff like that, and they sit around here coasting around up and down the cliffs. But yeah, if you're ever in San Diego, go down to the Torrey Pines glider port. You can park over here and walk out here, walk all the way out to here to the cliffs, and if you want, you can actually take the stairway kind of path down to Black's Beach is a nude beach, so be advised. It's kind of the hardest beach to get to in San Diego, which is why it's, I don't know, kind of left it as clothing optional. Alright, so let's go ahead and power up here a little bit, yapping and talking and not really paying attention. It's Torrey Pines Golf Course. Back behind us again, that's Black's Beach down here. Only way to get to it is walk from the Solana Beach or whatever up here, or go to La Jolla Shores and walk all the way along it, or come over here, park, and kind of there's a little path going down the cliff towards it. But like I said, it's clothing optional. So there's usually some weirdos there. Alright, let's take a look at our RPM here. It did sound low. Alright, so we are past Torrey Pines, so we can actually start climbing up. So we'll throttle up a little bit. Start a little bit of a climb here. Nice gentle one. And we're going to head towards, like I said, we're going to head inbound towards Lake Hodges. After we get past, after we get past Del Mar, the Del Mar Fairgrounds here. It's where they do the horse races and all that. we're going to go up to about 3,500, so retrimming here. Let me go ahead and trim my rudder here a little bit too. There we go. That looks good. Let me jump outside and show you around here. So this is, what is this, Powerhouse Park? Real nice beach right here. Again, if you're visiting San Diego, ever come down here. It's super awesome beach. Parking may be a little hassle someplace along the streets, but the beach is really nice. Nice little park here, and the beach is fantastic. Go there at like low tide, so check the tide, and then you can walk all around here. This is Dog Beach, the only beach right in this area that allows dogs off leash. So if you follow the road right here, you'll see everybody parked on the side here and tons of dogs running around right there. Alright, so we are heading towards Encinitas. I'm going to do a flyby here and then we'll jump back in the cockpit. And we'll make our turn eastbound. And you can hear our fuel getting switched. Alright, turn to about a heading of 060 should take us where we want to go. Are pretty much out of the east here. Take a look at our wind setting right now. Still only 5 knots, so that's not too bad. Alright, so there's 3,500. We'll level off here. Throttle back a bit. And we're kind of heading, we want to go to the left of this little peak right here. Here's Lake Hodges back here. And you can see what this does is, if we take a look at this, it kind of keeps us out of the airspace right here. So we kind of at least want to go around this way. Here's Ramona. We're going to kind of cut across here, come back, cut right along that line, and then back into Gillespie. As we climb up, I think the airspace right here is like 4,000. Let's take a look at it. 4,800, so pretty good. Let me show you this. Show you where we are. So zoom out a little bit, make sure we're level. Okay, so we're right around here. We just came across Del Mar. Here's the racetrack, and then we kind of turned in here. We're sort of scooting right along here at 3,800, which we're busting it. Maybe. No, we haven't hit it yet. So we got to kind of get down a little bit. So we're kind of cutting right up over this line here, and then we'll come to the south here. Get rid of that. Pay attention to my flying here. We kind of turned inbound a little bit early. That's why usually I try to stay out, or not that I've flown this anytime recently, but I'd usually try to stay out of this little section right here, which is 3,800. Over here it's 6,800, and then back this one here is 4,800. So you want to stay below that. So we're just kind of skirting off to the side of it, diving down to get back to our altitude here. And that section there, all this is really because of Miramar, which you can see in the distance right there. The former Navy, now Marine Corps air station. Alright, there's 3,500. Try to hold our altitude here and pay attention to what we're doing. Headed right for Lake Hodges here. kind of come around. We're going to come around. Ramona sits up here, and we're going to come around the back side of this peak right here, heading back towards Gillespie Field. Alright, let's see if I got a retrim here. Okay, power back just a little bit. Retrim our rudder. That looks good right there. So, I guess in the real world now, Ramona has a tower, so we'd probably be calling them right about now, saying we're over Lake Hodges and we're going to transition south of them, heading for Gillespie. They give us permission to do that. Their airspace kind of starts right past, as soon as you get over the plateau right here, it looks like. There's a little lake over there, like, what is it, Lake Poway? Someplace over here, there it is. Is that it? No? Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, that's Lake Poway right there. Again, yeah, looking good. And I'm kind of flying by where I used to live. I used to live, excuse me, I used to live right down here, Rancho Penasquitas. Back when I was learning to fly, actually. That's where I was. And we got a little bit of a headwind here, sorry. You can see our winds are out of the, almost right on our nose there. 07. 0 at about 7.5 knots. We might get a little bumpiness here. We'll see. A lot of times I can see the plane sort of bouncing around already, especially you get east winds like this, so meaning out of the east. They start swirling around all throughout here. We're kind of going around the backside of this this little ridge right here. So it might get a little interesting here. Climb there. Winds are starting to pick up. Yeah, we're up at 8 knots now, 8.5. And you can see Ramona right up ahead of us. Jump to the dash view here. There's Ramona. We're going to cut right around this peak here, and we'll start our descent. Once we get a little bit closer to Ramona, we'll descend down to 3,000. Kind of climbed up a little bit anyway here. And we're getting a little bumpiness here. Winds are starting to shift around a little bit. I guess we can simulate, you know, some traffic over here, so we'll put our landing light on so they can spot us easily. I'm actually looking out my window here as I'm flying, and yeah, the winds have definitely picked up over here. Palm trees are going bananas. Alright, we're kind of close to the airport here, and usually what I do here is this is where I would descend down to about 3,000. So we'll throttle back a little bit, try to keep it at about 2,500 RPM. Just in case something pokey happens again, we get some something happening with the engine, we can usually you can probably glide it into Ramona here or into one of the fields right there. So let's take a look out here. We'll start making our turn around this peak. The peak here actually defines the let me show you this. Actually defines the turn right here. So Mount Woodson right there. Okay, and that's where that little corner is. Okay, let's get rid of the chart. Back in here, it's starting to get bouncy along these mountains. And we're getting down to 3,000 feet here. This is pretty standard here. Done this many times. And it's always bumpy as hell right here. It's always fun flying along these mountains too, or these little ridges here. Because that's pretty much what they look like. They look like a big pile of rocks. Right around 3,000, so let's try to hold right here. We don't want to go any lower. And we will not descend again until we're over San Vicente Reservoir. Definitely taking a little bit of effort here to manhandle it in the bumps here a little bit. Actually, let's do a flyby right here. That should be nice. There we go. Over and around the peaks here. Not sure what that buzz was. I don't think it was. I think it might have just been some anomaly. So, staying down here keeps us out of the airspace, as you can see over here. We're going to come around here, we're going to go right inbound here, and then enter a right base for Gillespie. Not sure which runway we'll take right now. We'll see how bumpy it is over there. You can see the San Vicente Reservoir here up ahead of us. It's a reservoir, and it's got a little island in the center, and depending on how full it is, that island kind of gets bigger and smaller. Back in my day, it was just a little round speck in the middle of the lake. And yeah, we are definitely getting bounced around over here, so we kind of head right for this, let me jump out here, right for the center of the island right here, which actually looks like a peninsula now. When this ortho was taken, might have been a little low water level. And Gillespie Field's right over here where my cursor is, and we've got, I forgot what the mountains are called there, but got the little mountain right there. We kind of come around the back side of the mountain and then make a right turn onto Final. So we're over San Vicente here, and right about now I'd call Gillespie Tower and tell her that we've already gotten our ATIS, so we're over San Vicente inbound for landing at 3,000, 2,700. And they would normally tell us to report over the freeway, or I think, what was it, there's something else, golf course. There's a golf course right that we come over, and they tell us to report over the golf course, which is right here. Tell us to enter a right base. So I'm throttled back here. Let's go ahead. We've got our fuel pump on landing. We never turned our landing light on. Okay, so we always had it on there. I thought I turned on the fuel pump instead, but that's fine. Fuel pump's on. We'll go mixture rich. Now that we're kind of coming out of this little ridgeline area, throttle up. And we're going to start our descent here. Let me see here. We're going down to about 1,500 feet, actually a little bit lower, like 1,200 feet. It's been a while since I've flown in Gillespie. Well, it's been a while since I've flown in real life, period. So, And quite a while since I've flown out of Gillespie, so I don't actually recall everything. Let's kind of square up my view here for the approach. Throttle back. Okay, so there's the golf course right ahead of us there. We're a little high, so I'm going to throttle back to what sounds like 2,500 RPM. And a lot of times when you're flying airplanes, GA like this, that's one of the, you use all your senses. You'd actually learn, or at least if you got a good instructor, he will instruct you how to learn your power setting by what you hear. So I think I'm a little bit low of 2,500, yeah, let's see. That's without having to look at it. So my sound perception here, I guess, has still been retained from my days flying the Warrior. Throttle up a little bit more here. Alright, so we're pretty much, we reported over the golf course. They told us we're clear to land. And told us to report on final. So we were basically on sort of like a log base around this mountain right here, because it's sort of in the way. So we'll go to 10 degrees of flaps here. We're a little fast here, but not too fast. Actually, I don't recall what the degree settings are on the flaps, but there's 3 settings, so we did 1 notch of flaps. I can't remember if it's like 5 or 7 or something. I don't recall. All right. Well, and we're a little high. So what we want to do is we're going to turn and come right in between this mountain and this little bump, this little hillside right there. So we're going to go ahead and start making our turn to final. 2nd notch of flaps here. Get rid of that. I've throttled back to get us down to about 80. Come around the hillside here. You can see the runways. We'll take the right runway here. What's our winds? They're about pretty much what we left it off as. All right, so we'll call final to the tower. Go full flaps. Like I said, 1,200 feet right here would bring us pretty much on the glide slope, and you can see we just went too white, too red right there. Retrim, and we do have that wind, a little bit of a crosswind here, so let's crab into that a little bit and get back on center line. All right, so let's go sterile cockpit right now until I land. I'm going to be shooting for about 70 on final over the numbers. Alright, there's our airspeed 70, open the numbers, throttle back. A little bit of a bump there, come on. Alright, not too bad. Get a little swirly or something right there at as soon as I drop the power, or actually might have just been dropping the power in this model. The plane just wants to drop down, so you gotta be ready for that. No brakes, we'll just let it coast down here. Flaps down, or, well, up. Alright, we'll hit the brakes here. See if it swerves us all over the place. Alright, and we will get cleaned up here as we taxi. Let's go ahead and put the mixture back a little bit, fuel pump off, landing light off. So, I hope you enjoyed that little scenic flight around San Diego. It was kind of fun doing that again. It's been a while since I've even flown that in a simulator. But that used to be my little San Diego tour that I take people up on. Usually not when it's this windy though. I kind of modify that. I wouldn't come around towards Ramona. If it's a little bumpy like that, and you got a little skittish passenger, I would take them. I'd take them over to the beach and then kind of just turn back and retrace the route back. Come back in and do left traffic for the runway here. But yeah, that was fun. So let's go ahead and we'll park over here by the tower and shut down. Let's see what we got. We got a couple of spots over here. Yes, 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 I know. Yeah, we'll park next to that, what is that? That twin Seneca or something? I don't know what that is. Make a hard turn here. Still got to get used to the buttons here and the steering and whatnot on this plane. I'm using my rudder to do most of the steering, but if I gotta make a hard turn, I have a couple flippers on my throttle that I use for ground steering. I have plenty of room. And they're pretty touchy in this plane, so I'll have to just trim them down a little bit. Alright, there we go. Throttle back. Let's get back in the cockpit here. We'll go ahead and shut down and we'll put our parking brake on. Make sure idle cut off here. Ignition off. Turn everything else off. Off, not on. Okay, there we go. Pretty much it. Fuel to off. And we can go ahead and let's pop out and have a look-see at the plane here. Sorry about that. There we go. Alright, climb on out. And there we are. Hope you enjoyed that flight, like I said. It was fun doing it. Let's go ahead and let's make believe we had something in the back here. You can pop open the baggage door. I usually pop open the baggage door, grab the tow bar, and attach it to there and push your plane around. So once again, if you like these types of videos, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you aren't, hit the bell button if you want to get notified when I post a new video. I do, wow, look at that. We got a train coming through Gillespie Field. Weird. Anyway, I try to do videos like at least a couple times a week. I've been sort of doing them ahead of time and having them post at least daily. So hope you enjoy all that. Anyway, thanks, guys. Hope everybody has a great day. Bye.